In order to move forwards in life, you must first learn how to move in reverse. If what I just said does not make any sense to you, you would be correct. I just made it up. And now that I think about it, it is complete nonsense. So let's forget I said that. Welcome, traders, to another installment of the Indicator Profile series. We are going with the Ehlers Reverse EMA. And John Ehlers really has solidified himself as the #1 creator of indicators, at least that we like to profile here. He just does a really good job. We certainly don't love all of them, but we do like a lot of them, and this is going to be another one for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do that, if you're brand new, welcome to the #1 indicator channel in all of YouTube. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. However, this is the last video of the series you need to see, not the first. Go back to NoNonsenseForex.com. Read that first page, watch that first video, and get started. Get caught up. It's worth it. You will have this for life. Now, for the rest of you who already do have this for life, let's go ahead and take a look at the specs for the Reverse Ehlers EMA. The year is going to be 2017. Now, if it is an EMA, what type of indicator do you think it is? It's actually a confirmation indicator. It's not a baseline. And the way we do it is going to be a zero cross. I'm going to show you two ways, but we're only going to really officially profile one, and that's going to be the zero cross version. And then for exits, I don't like zero cross indicators for exits, so I would say no this time around. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. It looks like this. So pretty. What you do here, if you don't know, is when the blue crosses and closes above the yellow zero cross line, that is your signal to go long. And when it does the opposite, that is your signal to go short. Very easy. Now, if you go to the blog that is attached to this video, which you can find in the description, by the way, we're going to show you a different way of looking at this, and you can go measure these results on your own. But all we really did was put a simple EMA on it, and that's what this looks like. For further details, consult the blog, but I do recommend you go and test both versions because you never know. One might be way better than the other. And also, a version that looks like this is not going to be maybe perfect, but is going to lend itself better as an exit indicator than a zero cross would. That's just naturally how these things go. So, a little 2-for-1 special for my traders this week, but let's go ahead and test the results. Before we do that, a reminder, because I'm always needing to put this out there for some reason. The results you are about to see at the end of the day really mean nothing because it only matters how it performs in your system. So you need to go and test both of these immediately after you watch this video. Actually, you can go watch some of Dan's material too if you want, but immediately after that, you need to be testing this in your system to see how it does. Now, if you don't know how to do that, that's okay, because down below I have a link to my automation blog, which has an embedded video in it showing you how to test these yourself on the MT4 strategy tester. Everything we do here is MT4 specific. You might find it on TradingView, but you might also not find it. But it's worth going and checking because a lot of times my traders who know how to program actually see some of these indicators and then create them for TradingView, so you never know. But as always, like I said before, you'll get a link to the indicator blog. Shows you the math behind this, the history, the tweak settings, also, which we don't show you here, so that's going to be required reading after you're done with this. As is Dan's YouTube channel, he will make a supplemental video showing this indicator moving in real time to show you that it doesn't repaint, and then always adds on a little bit more information about the indicator that I may not. Now, if you want to submit an indicator for profiling, there's a small chance we would actually profile it here, but it does happen. It has happened in the past, and there's a special email address for this. Mentioning this indicator in the comments section doesn't do anything. You have to send it directly to Dan, and then we will review it and see if it flies. And then the most essential and popular place in the entire internet. Did you know that? It's the link to the indicator library, where you can download the Reverse Ehlers EMA and every indicator we have profiled here on the Indicator Profile series. So let's go ahead and go to the results. This will be the last week I remind everybody of this, but we have changed the format to where we do a 3-year time frame now, but we still add the 1 year at the very end. We just divide by 3. Super simple, but it gives people a bit more of a comprehensive view of what this thing can do over time, which I think is quite important, and I think the majority of you guys agree with that. The results have been very pleasing to my audience so far. So let's go ahead and get into it on the EURUSD. Now, you're going to see a running theme with this one. You're not going to see the best ROI in the world, but you are going to see really, really great win-loss ratios, which means, and Dan and I were talking about this previously, what type of indicator in your system is this going to be better suited for? Your confirmation 1 or your confirmation 2? I say strongly it's going to be your confirmation 1 because you already have a high win-loss ratio, and then a secondary confirmation indicator can come in and improve on that, which should improve the ROI, which kind of needs to happen. I mean, we don't want to crank out a 2% going forward. Now, that ROI is going to go up with every indicator you add on to it, but if you already start at a high win-loss ratio, you can pare that down a little bit and watch this go up over time, which is what you're probably going to see if you start with this one and then add pieces onto it. At least that's what I hope you see. That's what you should see. Moving on over to gold. Better, of course, but gold always is, and not a lot of signals. So if you like a slower style, or if you are supplementing metals onto your Forex trading and you don't want to have a ton of signals because you're already trading 36 pairs and now you're adding metals on, this is going to be something you're probably going to like. Again, it moves slower like a secondary confirmation indicator would, but you're still getting a super high win-loss ratio that you can build on. And you can also build on this ROI at the same time. So that's good. Moving over to the S&P, I would say less good here, but starting with a win-loss ratio at 66%, 2 out of every 3 is nothing to sneeze at. I've just shown you really, really high win-loss ratios before this, so it's kind of setting the bar maybe too high. This is still, I think, a very good starting point for you indices traders. Just put it in there, see what happens. If the results were just too low for me to even suggest testing, I would tell you, but this is not going to be one of those cases. Finishing off with Bitcoin, kind of like gold. You should see higher per year on this, but you are starting with a good win-loss ratio at the same time. Maybe not as exciting here as it would be for gold, but again, it still meets that threshold for something I think you should be testing because of just the natural high win-loss ratio you are going to get on this indicator. ROI is king, but win-loss ratio does mean a lot at the end of the day. If you recall, those of you who listen to my Trading Psychology podcast, my co-host Rob came out with something called the Flat Earth Trading Society. It's its own separate YouTube channel, and it showed you that if you just simply flip a coin, if you just simply employ the proper money management and trading psychology, you're going to do really well. But I always come in and counter, and I say, look, any percentage point you can get above 50%, assuming you manage trades the same way, is going to add lots and lots of money onto your bottom line over time. And that is why win-loss ratio matters. So we hope you enjoyed this installment of the Indicator Profile Series. We will keep them coming. We are getting the Trading Psychology podcast back on track. Rob and I had some really rough travel crossover that is now finished. Indicator Profile Series is back on track as well every other week. And don't you ever forget the 10-Minute Contrarian Investing podcast every single Saturday. It is all things finance here. Subscribe, hit the bell. You don't want to miss out. And go get it.